back to TC 911 Beyond the Call, the Tarrant 911 District Podcast. I'm your host, Abbey Dudek, and today I have the great honor of sitting with Jeff from Fort Worth 911. Hello, Jeff. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me.
Well, you're welcome. I appreciate you, one, not only doing this, but two, coming early.
Earlier on time, right?
I love that. When I looked at my clock, I'm like, what? He's like 20 minutes early. I love that.
You can't just be on time. You got to be early.
You know what they say, if you're on time,
you're late.
You're late.
Yes,
yep.
ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. I don't know how much that's really followed in today's society. I don't know. Anybody's got some feedback for that? You know, I totally welcome comments and questions.
I'm one of the gurus that shows up 45 minutes early to work. Everybody looks, what are you doing here? I'm on time.
Yep. I'm always early. I think it's maybe, and I don't know if maybe you can side with me on this one, but I'm always afraid, like, even when I was in dispatch, I would show up early because I'm like, what if something happens?
Exactly.
What if it's going crazy? Whatever.
With one of those big calls that calls for everybody's hands, you got to be there.
Exactly. You know, so I'm with you on that one. Yep. I was the same when I was in dispatch too. I was always early.
Plus, I think we both live in South Fort Worth, so we have to fight traffic coming into work.
Oh yeah. Well, I think any direction of where you live in Fort Worth, you're going to have to box that traffic.
True story.
So it's especially it can get just during the school year and then holidays, and then we're just rapidly growing like crazy here in Tarrant County. So it's just going to get worse. I don't want to say it. I don't want to be a negative Nelly, but it is. I'm sorry. So yeah, I mean, I get here early. I get here at the office really early, but I mean, we don't have emergency situations. I just get here because I really enjoy nobody in the office in the early morning, and you just kind of do your thing.
Plus, it's nice coming to work, get up to speed, see how your teammates on the prior shift are doing.
Well, we don't have that really here, but your job you do.
Yeah.
Different thing, but mine is more of like, I like this the quiet mornings. I come in here, work on some graphic design or edit these podcasts or something like that, because when I do stuff that has a lot of audio in it, I don't normally like to keep my office door shut because I think it's kind of not welcoming. Yeah. And so I have to have obviously the volume up. So if I can do it while no one's here, I don't bother any of my neighboring offices with everybody's podcast blaring. So, and I don't want to wear headphones. I'm afraid I'm going to hear something. What if there's a fire and everyone's yelling fire?
Or if the boogeyman comes in.
Or the boogeyman or something like that. There's all sorts of crazy things that can happen. So, anywho, so how long have you been at Fort Worth 911?
11 years.
11 years?
Yeah, I hit 11 years October 8th.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, you've been in Fort Worth 911 since I've lived in Texas.
Oh, wow.
Because I moved to Texas in June of 2012.
Yeah, I started October 8th, 2012.
Okay. Well, good deal.
Shared the day with my mom's birthday as well as Kathy Harston,
who just retired.
Her birthday as well. So
good deal.
Every time it was my anniversary, I had to make sure to say happy birthday or I got in trouble.
Go get a card or something. Yeah. That's always the best when you can like make things arranged to fit your memory needs. Yeah. That's brilliant. Yep. That's brilliant. Okay, so 11 years. And what did you do prior?
I was a mall cop at Ridgemar Mall.
Now, I'm not going to get a response because of the podcast, but if your first thought was Paul Blart Mall Cop, I love that movie because there's two of them, right? And they're like one.
There's two.
Okay. You know what? I now want to go home and watch that because I haven't seen it.
Yes, I drove a Segway.
Did you?
But
really?
I had to wear a helmet, so it made it 10 times worse.
It made it that much awesomer.
Yeah.
Did it have like a little not a siren, but a little light or anything?
No.
Nothing?
It was good though. We'd go pretty fast, so we had to get from one side of the mall to the other, jump on that thing.
Oh my gosh. That's all I keep thinking is that movie. I'm like, okay, I'm just picturing you, but in place of that movie. Oh yeah, that's okay.
6 foot dude on a Segway adds about another foot.
Yeah, because you're really tall.
Yeah.
So, okay. So what? I just have to ask. I'm not going to say your worst call, but the most exciting quote thing that happened at the mall while having that job.
Most exciting thing was I helped recover a gun from a dude that brought it in the mall. Got in a little foot chase with him with our off-duty officer. Oh. Because every Friday and Saturday we'd have 2 Fort Worth off-duty officers come work there.
Okay.
And the day this happened, I was out patrolling the exterior of the mall. Mm-hmm. And they put it out over the radio to go check this area for this dude. So I stayed out of it. I was like, I'm not going to worry about it. We change every hour. So every hour you go to a new position. So my next position was to go, patrol the interior of the mall, go walk around, and be there for the guests. And so I was doing my check-ins. We had to check in at certain parts of the mall. And I rounded the corner and I told my partner that was with me, I was like, hey, what was that dude's description? And he told me, I was like, he's right there.
Were you kind of freaked out? I'd have been freaked out. No?
I was like,
that's
all right,
exactly why I don't do this job.
This is going to get interesting really fast.
Yeah.
So I keyed up on the radio. I was like, my unit number was 118. I was like, 118 to PD 3. He's like, go ahead. I was like, come over here. I was like, I've got this dude in sight. And he comes over there, he gets him, we start heading back to the mall, and he just bolts.
Okay, where was the segue?
In the office. I hadn't gotten on it at that time.
I felt like you could have just ran him over with it or something.
No. So he bolts, and we go around where Neiman Marcus is.
Okay.
And go down the escalator to the theater, come out the theater's entrance, and we get him right at where the parking lot meets the sidewalk.
And I'm sorry, did you tell everybody what mall this was?
Ridgemar Mall. Yeah. So as we get him on the ground, officer's like 2-3 people ahead of me because I'm tall, but I'm slow. I don't run very fast.
You should have that embroidered on a pillow.
That'd be cool.
I'm tall, but I'm slow.
Cool. So we got him down, and somehow in between, when this dude jumped the escalator, he broke both of his legs, bounced up, and took off.
What?
And we got him down.
So he broke his legs, but he still got up?
Still got up, got going.
Wow, man, that adrenaline, I guess, won't cause you to do anything.
Yeah. So we got him down, and I saw his legs. I was like, crap. And my supervisor told him, and I told her, I was like, hey, get the med bag. Like, I got to help this dude now. Now that I done chased him for having a gun in the mall.
And he did have it on his persons?
Yeah.
They had the gun
We got it off of him before the foot chase started.
Oh, okay.
So I had it on me.
Oh, good.
So
that way he couldn't turn around and do something bad. Man, okay, not that I would ever break the law and have to have a reason to run from police, but if that ever happens, I will not run. I will just fall where I'm at and just take me.
It's not worth it. Plus,
I just feel like I'm just going to make a bigger fool out of myself by running. So, no. I would be like the gals in horror movies where they take off running, but they always fall. Like every time. It's like, why even bother? You're going to trip and fall, and then you're going to sprain your ankle on nothing. And then that's going to be me if I had to do it. But
the
again,
bad thing is, too, if you get tackled, you're going to eat pavement.
That I don't really like rashes, nor do I like concrete rashes on my face.
Yes.
But that's never going to happen because I am a law-abiding citizen.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, well, that's all right. Well, that's interesting. Good deal. So you went into the 911 sector of it. And since you were a mall cop, were you wanting to be a police officer with Fort Worth then?
So I had when I was a kid, I joined a program that's called Junior Police Academy.
Okay.
And it was for middle school kids. And the officer that was there, it was in White Settlement. I went to Brewer and grew up in White Settlement. Okay. So the officer that was there kind of became a mentor. He's a great dude. Miss him to death. He retired, living that retirement life now.
Oh, good for him.
But so he mentored us, and that really caught my attention. I was like, oh, I want to do this job. Mm-hmm. Like, about that time was when White Settlement lost, I think, their second or third officer, Captain Monet, and just seeing that brotherhood, how everything happened, I was like, yeah, this life is for me. This is what I want to do, right? Mm-hmm. So did Junior Police Academy, aged out of that. When I turned, I think I was 13 or 14, I joined the Fort Worth Police Explorers program.
Okay.
And I was in that till I was 22.
All right, awesome.
So that triggered that mentality even more, because going to ride out with the guys, getting to see them, how they work, getting to see the brotherhood even more. It's just like, this is a family. This is what I want to do.
Yeah, that's nice. So then you went to the 911 side of things to maybe get like a shoe in to
learn
be a police
interview
officer.
Skills, something like that.
Sure. But then what happened? Because you're still in 911.
Fell in love with the job.
There you go.
I love what I do. So.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome, and I'm sure they appreciate you being there. You're always there when I stop by.
Yeah.
So I
live there.
Do you live there? Do you have do you make a little small home for yourself in the back by the kitchen or something like that?
Got a weight room. Just go take a nap in there.
No, well, that works out. So 11 years doing that. And are you a training officer?
I'm a lead dispatcher.
Lead dispatcher. Okay.
I promoted to that October 7th, so a day before my 11-year.
Okay, a nice little anniversary present.
Got the announcement on email. Hey, you're promoted.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Well, congratulations. Nice. So you've had some time being a lead dispatcher now, since that was back in October and everything.
It's a blast.
That's so fun. And you seem like you have like a really good demeanor about you about being a leader. Like I feel like you would just get everyone kind of pumped up, or kind of like making sure that they see their worth and their value in this industry. Do you have
to have it. I mean, this job we do, you have your good days, you have your bad days. And having someone to lean on is what makes this job worth it. Like, prime example, we have a girl, she just had a couple of rough calls back to back. And she came in the office the next day because she had gotten it again, the same exact call, same call type. And she's like, I got another one. So, the supervisor pulled her to the side. We're like, you're fine. You did everything you're supposed to. You're good. Like, you're doing it.
It's unfortunately like just the luck of the draw. It's kind of like.
She's like, why does this keep happening? We're like.
Because you're so good at taking those calls.
The dispatch god said, here, you get this call.
Yeah. You are fabulous. So we're going to give those. I'm sure everyone around her was like, oh, thank you, God.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she's doing great. But I could definitely understand where she's coming from. I mean, it's just constant. And then, that takes a toll on you.
And it's the best now because, I was able to mentor before I got promoted. But now being a lead, like I get to mentor the new guys. I get, the new folks. My shift is primarily all rookies. People that have been there 2 years less, a year less. And
you're still on days, right? Are you on days?
They assigned me to second shift.
Oh, second shift. Okay, so the mid shift. So that is starting at...
We start at... Right now, we start at 4 and we end at midnight, but our hours change December 30th. So,
are they already changed?
No, they changed December 30th. Or yes, they have changed.
Yes, I was like, you mean like this past December, you guys just changed? So, okay, awesome. Well, because I know that every dispatch center is different. Because when I hear mids, it's some people mids are like 11 to 7, or So it's interesting that yours are 4 to midnight.
Yeah,
I guess it's mids because it's a 24/7 job. Yeah. But I'm kind of like, really? I guess, I've been working.
All the good stuff happens at that time.
I know.
Get your pursuits, good.
I know. You get the rush hour and then you get the late night fun. Mm-hmm. So that's always a good time.
Yeah.
So you've been there 11 years. You fall in love with the 911 industry, which is great. I love hearing that. When you first started and everything, did you think you were going to stay in there? Like, what was the moment that you were like, okay, I'm going to be a police officer. And then from when you fell in love with it, how long was that transition to you're just like, I'm staying here. I love this. 2-3
years in.
Okay.
Because the way we do it is when you get hired on, you start out in call taking. Mm-hmm. So you do that for a year and a half, 2 years, and then we'll move you over to dispatch training. Mm-hmm. So whenever the dispatch training, I think my 3rd year in, and got to start doing that. Got to see where the fun was.
Oh, so since you start doing so then right when you started doing the police radio, that's when you were like, I'm good. I'm good here. You don't have to do the running. You don't have to do anything like that. So you should be good. Okay. So you plan on, this is it. You're staying, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm invested now. So.
That is awesome. Do you have a call that you can think of that, and that's okay if you don't. I know it's after 11 years, you're like, oh, I only got 5 million calls, Abby. Was there one in particular that you took that you just knew that this was your calling? Like you just took it, you got off the phone and you're like, yep. I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah, I think it was a suicide attempt. I think I talked the person out. Talked them down from hurting themselves. So.
Oh, good job. And that was your moment where you were just like, do you remember how far in that was in your career? No. It's just all a blur now, isn't it? Like a smear.
Yeah. Yep.
I love that. That's, and that just, folks at home, that just gives you, an inside perspective of what these women and men do in 911, with that example that you just gave us. That's one of the calls that you were like, nope, I'm supposed to be here because I have, clearly you have a good way of communicating with the community in various situations. So
appreciate that.
That's fantastic. Yeah, no problem. What are some goals? Now I know you are you're a lead dispatcher.
Right.
So what are your goals? Where would you like to see yourself at Fort Worth 911 in 5 years?
If not doing what I do now, hopefully promoted to supervisor.
Okay, all right.
Right now I'm having too much fun.
You're just having too much fun. That is great. I love that. That's a great response. So supervisor well, I guess your guys' manager is now a sworn officer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay.
We brought sworn in.
That's been a while.
2016.
Yeah, that has been a while. And then last year you guys were hiring for assistant manager. Was that sworn? Is that sworn too or no?
Not at the time.
Okay.
I think it was civilian based, but I think they finally just pushed it to sworn. Like we still
the assistant manager job is sworn.
We still have an assistant manager that's on the civilian side.
Oh, okay.
So
but the new position that came out this past October, was that sworn too, or was that?
No idea, to be honest.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that was.
I didn't really pay attention to it. I just they put the posting out.
I already have a job, so I'm good. I
don't need that leadership yet.
You know what? I agree. There's jobs that come out here, and I post them on our website, but I never really read them because it's usually with the tech team, and they're way smarter than me when it comes to this stuff, so I'm not applying for that, nor would I understand the jargon that's in there. Okay, great. So you like to be a supervisor, again, from a lead to a supervisor. Does that open up a lot? Does those opportunities come up a lot for supervisor? You just need someone to retire?
Yeah, it's one of those, they got to either retire or they have to promote out.
Do you want me to start sending out publications of things you can do when you retire, or retirement packages on cruise liners or anything, and just kind of maybe entice them? Some of them have a lot of years under their belt. Yeah. And,
Yeah, there's one girl that's been there. She's not a supervisor. She's a dispatcher, but she's been there 30-something years, so we all kind of flock to her for
Okay. I'm trying to think because I'm like, I don't know if you want to say who it is, but you may not want to, or this person may not want you to.
Yeah, I don't think she'd want it up.
Because I'm trying to think, because a lot of them that have left and retired. Yeah. And so I'm like, I think I know. I think I have a picture in my head. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
She's really
very
cool.
nice. Okay, great. So you have the goal to be a supervisor. And are there any other like extracurricular activities that you do through dispatch? Do you join them anything? Events or?
No, not events. We kind of have designated people that go out and help on that. Mm-hmm. But I train. I help train. They're fixing to put me through instructor school so I can teach.
See, now you're going to be, so you're going to not CTO, not a training officer, but you want to be like a teaching classes and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, awesome.
I go to that. It's kind of weird because, right now I'm on vacation. So coming back from vacation, I work 3 days and then I go back out again to go to instructor school. So I'm like, this is a nice little.
All right. Now, are they doing the instructor course? Or are we? Okay.
We're going to we have a officer at our academy that
does that.
That's going to do it for us.
So this is the basic instructor class. I took that class 2013 or something. Yeah. I just remember having to do a demonstration, like public speaking or something, and mine was how to put a baseball jersey in a shadow box.
We had to do that when we went through CTO. When I went through CTO with y'all.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Robbie and I can't remember the lady that taught us, but they're like, by the way, last day you got to do a presentation. I had to scramble something together real quick. I hadn't even thought about it.
Yeah, I remember and when I took this course, I was like the only dispatcher. The rest of them were police officers for the instructor course. And I remember I'm from Illinois, so yes, I'm a White Sox fan. I know it's not the Rangers, but hey, we had our good moments. Rangers have their good moments. Now they've had their bad moments.
Rangers.
Yes, go Rangers. But I'm not a Yankees fan, so that actually keeps me safe around here.
Oh, nice.
So, because I've heard that no, absolutely not. You can't go that far up.
I think it's in between the Rangers or the Yankees and the Astros now.
Oh yeah, no.
Keeps you safe. So.
Oh yeah, I'm good. So the White Sox is neutral ground. So I do wear Rangers stuff like when the Yankees Yankees are in town or whatever like that. So, but anyway, the jersey I chose was my Paul Konerko signed throwback 1975 jersey.
Oh, wow.
That was, I'm going to be buried in that thing. That I did that. And I remember they were all giving me a hard time because it was a White Sox jersey and everything. And it has the World Series patch on it. And at the time, obviously this was a while back ago, I was like, well, at least my jersey has, I said, well, if you're having trouble, I'm having trouble putting it in the box because of this World Series patch. But if you're a Rangers fan, don't worry, you won't have that problem because but now, there you go. Yeah. Now they do have it. So anyway, good little side note there. Do you have any education tips for the public? Straight from the horse's mouth out to everybody. Know
your address.
Know your address.
Know where you are.
Yep. I keep hearing this from everyone that we're talking to. Know your address is a big thing because the cell phones. Everybody's using cell phones now. Yep. So
and they're not always accurate. So.
That is true. We can't guarantee that, and I've expressed that a lot. They're getting they're better than what they used to be. Yeah. But it's still kind of can somewhat be a 50-50 on.
I got asked that question not too long ago. They're like, if you take a call, what's the first thing you need to know? I need to know the address. I got to know where to go.
Yeah. We still have a lot of members of the public or the community that will say, oh, well, we need to have your phone number, right? It's your phone number. They need to know your phone number. I wonder if that stems from prior to when it was just landlines, because your address came up all the time. So a lot of folks will be like, oh, well, they know their phone number. My kid knows their phone number, so they're good. And I'm like, yeah, we really need their address over anything else or location. So, yeah. So address and location. Mm-hmm. What else you got for anybody? This is Fort Worth, so you guys get a lot of calls.
Know your address, and then, don't freak out. We're gonna get you through it. We're gonna
freak out.
We're gonna help you as best we can.
Jeff will help you be calm. It's hard to it's hard to. It's hard to do that, it's easier said than done, I guess would be the best way of saying that.
A lot easier said than done.
Oh, yeah.
Because just the times I've had to call 911, it's just like that adrenaline kicks in. Yeah. And you're just like, oh no, what?
Oh, yeah, I forgot my address. and that does happen. So, I think, especially if you don't have any public safety, I have to side with the community when it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I did. I freaked out. I didn't. Because we always think we know, and I have to say this even about people in public safety too. We always think we know what we're going to do in a situation, but knowing what to do in a situation when it's calm and it's not going on is completely different than it actually happening. And then you're
fight
like,
or flight syndrome
and then you're
in.
like, oh, here we are. Yep. And now I just lost all the information that I needed to know. So, but to piggyback on what you said, you and your fellow 911 headset heroes are really good about, helping someone through it. You guys are going to hold their hand. You guys are going to make sure that they need the help. They're not going to just...
That's what the job is. Somebody asked me, they're like, why do you do this job? I was like, because on people's worst day, I'm there for them. Like, we have all these sayings of you're the calm voice in the dark. And unless you come and you sit with us or you're on our side, you don't realize that until that call kicks on, and then you're that calm voice, and you can hear when the call kicks off, person's just nonstop, and you throw that calm voice into it, and they'll settle down, and then they'll ramp back up, and then they settle back down, and by the end of it, they're like, "Thank you so much for helping me." It's like, no problem.
And that's such a great thing. Because that's, I think that a lot of dispatchers, y'all don't think this way. Otherwise, it would be crazy. But thinking that you're someone's last lifeline. Again, you don't mentally want to keep thinking about that, because otherwise, you're just going to totally just kind of, you're going to be almost like on pins and needles, like, oh my gosh, when this call, but. I feel that all the dispatchers that do this career, you don't think about it, but the public obviously sees it as like, wow, you're someone's last lifeline. That's it. Like, it's 911. There's nothing else past that. There's not another phone a friend or anything like that. Exactly. Like, that's it. So, being able to do this job, I always say that it takes a special person to do this job, because you're not only a 911 dispatcher, but you're also a psychologist. You are a
got
buddy.
So many hats you got.
You are everything. You're a best friend. You're a brother. You're a sister. You're everybody to whomever's going to call, because you don't know what you're going to pick up. And I'm sure you have times where it's been like one call, and it's unfortunately calling 911 with a non-emergency happens, which we want to help that. Please don't do that. So, like, oh, my neighbor cut my half of the tree down. And then you hang up that call, and the next one's like, we had a fender bender, but everyone's fine. But then the next one is, my baby stopped breathing, or we just had a huge accident. Were you working during the big ice storm a couple of years back? The big 35 one?
Yeah, I was on shift when it happened.
Oh, gosh.
Dispatcher so the way that played out is, yes, we had the calls coming in, but we actually had an officer that he was going, so it all happened southbound, right? Mm-hmm. So he was going northbound heading to work. He was taking the long way to get to his beat. And he saw it happen, so he keyed up on her air, and she worked it from her channel. Totally another side of town that shouldn't be affected by this. And she handled the entire thing from her channel. It was really cool.
And y'all, just to recap, we're talking about the massive tragic accident on 35 southbound express lanes a few years back and everything. So I just, I didn't even ask Heather when she came and did her podcast if she was working that day also.
I was on shift, and then when I went, because I used to live in far north.
That's right.
What we call far north, which is the Alliance area.
I call it the nosebleed section of Fort Worth.
That too. But after we got off shift, I took the long way home because I knew I wasn't getting on the freeway. They had that freeway shut down for hours and hours and hours.
That was so.
And you could see it. It was. As weird as this is to say, it was a sight to see, just to see all those cars.
Yeah. It's definitely, I keep thinking of the videos because it was all over TikTok. Mm-hmm. Everyone was filming, and it was just really, really difficult to watch. And a part of me was kind of like, I really wish people wouldn't do that. I mean, it's tough because that's where we are right now in society, is, instant gratification of videos and finding out what's going on. But it's also disturbing because a lot of people lost their lives, and that was just really, really hard to watch that. You were working the radio channels, or were you taking calls too?
I was on our west side. We're in our west division. So again, totally not affected by it. But, I still had to push resources out there to go help, because it basically became what we call an all call, where everybody just kind of got sent to it to go help, because there were so many people. Mm-hmm. So many cars, and even when we were out there, accidents were still happening. They're like, hey, we need to get this resolved. We need to shut this road down.
Yeah.
Somebody get up there and go do it.
And it was just, man, because this was also during the pandemic. So our office was closed. So we were home, which I was I was grateful that none of our staff was, obviously, and a lot of places were closed because it was during the pandemic. So I was just kind of thinking, it's sad and it's tragic for those that have lost their lives. But then I think if we weren't a pandemic and everything was open, how worse would that have even been with with everyday traffic?
I don't even want to think about that one.
I mean, that's just, but so anyway, that's, wow. Well, thank you for working that. I can't even imagine what that day was like, regardless of what your duties were at the communication center. That was massive.
Well, the cool thing is when we have stuff happen, that happened. When we have other things happen, when shootings come in or we have pursuits kick off, something big happens.
Sure.
Everybody knows their place.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's helping. So, I was there. I was making sure. Of course, that was 4 years ago. I was making sure the supervisors were up to speed on what was going on. Of course, they're listening because they have radios at their consoles. But, helping my teammates with what they needed. And that's one thing I love about this job is, when stuff happens, we all Just,
come together.
Yeah, and jump in and start helping.
Yeah, because you guys, between in our district, just talking about Tarrant 9-1 districts area, you and Arlington would be our biggest cities, and this is true to say with any big city in our country, is that the bigger the city, you're going to have more calls, you're going to have more things that go on each day because it's bigger. That's just, it is what it is. With the size, that's gonna increase your calls and traffic accidents and other crime issues and whatnot that may come in. Because with you guys, you may get one shooting on one side of town and then it can happen again on the other side of town or in the same area or something like that. Yep. So I don't know how you guys do it. My hat's off to y'all, because I'm just like, even when I sit in my house, I hear sirens, or I'm like, God, that's like the fourth set of sirens I heard go by. I'm just like, oh, just nonstop. So luckily we have, luckily you guys are all separated by like North Division.
Yeah, we run
South.
6 sides of town.
Yeah, so. But even those are really big.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I don't know. Again, I just don't know how y'all do it. But I will say, and I promote this anytime I talk to a Fort Worth person, my Fort Worth app. Download my Fort Worth app. That will help you guys so much, doesn't it? Because it just alleviates the calls.
It helps with the call load, and plus, I have it on my phone.
I have it on my phone too. I love it.
I use it very rarely, but the times I do use it, it's like, okay, now I don't have to call them, tie up a line.
Right.
Putting it in, I can just throw it on there. It has, yes, it's not going to let you do certain things, like it's not going to let you put in a minor accident. It's not going to let you put in disturbance. But like if you see like a traffic hazard, if you see, one of the biggest ones we get are panhandlers. People will put it in on there.
Oh, right. Just anything. And there's so much. And I had mentioned this in the other podcast earlier this spring with this one, but they've added more like topics to put in. I'm telling you folks, like there's even like biohazard stuff. I guess if you see somebody dumping sludge down you can like put that in there. And
another cool thing is too, not to deviate off of that, but like our report system basically is totally different now. Like there's certain offenses you can report online. You just go to our police department's website and it's on there.
And that's the police department, not my Fort Worth app.
Yeah, police department's website.
Oh, okay. So folks, there you go. So you can report some things on there, and if you're not sure, like, well, what is it? Then I'm sure that they can find that out if they go to the Fort Worth Police website. But then the My Fort Worth app is there is some police. There's different categories. It's like public works, police, whatever.
Solid waste.
Yeah, just other things like if your trash hasn't been picked up or whatnot. I'm one for reporting lights out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see them and I'm like, oh, this is dark here. We need a light. Yeah. So then you just put the light on. And you know what? I have to say, they're pretty quick.
They are.
At least for the light part of it, because I put it in like, this was actually when I lived up north, and I put it in, and then like, I'll be darned, it was like the next day, and there was someone out there just working on the light. I'm like, that's amazing. Yeah. And I'm one too. I rolled down the window. I'm like, oh, thanks for what you're doing. I'm always appreciative of everybody that helps out the community, no matter what your job is.
Really cool that the city came up with that. So.
Oh, it's brilliant. Now, just to disclaimer, if you don't live in Fort Worth, I'm not sure if other cities have that app. I don't know. I don't think so. I haven't heard of it. No, I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but always check. But the address has to be in Fort Worth. So I know sometimes jurisdiction can get a little wonky around here because there's pockets of this. And if I lived across the street, I'm in Haltom. But if I live here, I'm in Fort Worth. So I get how it can be a little confusing. But just double check. I always say, the GIS department always taught me, check your trash cans.
That works too.
If you have a Longhorn on your trash can, you're part of Fort Worth. So there you go. If there's anything else, then there's someone else in someone else's jurisdiction. But Longhorn on your trash can, you're a part of Fort Worth. So that's always good tip there. So Jeff, anything else you have for any word of advice for any potential 911 headset hero that would like to apply or thinking about the job? Or
I mean, if you're wanting to do this job, then go at it full force. It's a blast. You have a lot of fun. A lot of people think it's it's a miserable job.
I like how you're saying it's a lot of fun. Like I'm loving it. Like I know what you mean, but I'm just picturing someone who's just listening to this podcast going 911 and fun. It's exhilarating.
There you go.
There you go.
That's
How about exhilarating? And I think we have to kind of almost say like the excitement of things to happen. Like 911 doesn't want bad things to happen, but they are very up to, how do I say this? 911 dispatchers are just always ready to go.
Yeah.
So there's really no fear or any holdback when something happens. You'd be like, oh gosh, now there's a 3-car pursuit or all this.
Well, I mean,
everybody gets excited.
If you're thinking too, you're just going to get thrown to the wolves. No, we put you through an academy. You go, I think it's a month and a half long academy. And then we kind of do what's called practice or practicals. And then we do live labs before we even get you on the floor. We make sure you know what to do before we send you out. And then you come out, you're either with me or you're with one of the other trainers, and we're with you for 6 weeks. So
yeah, and it's I mean, I guess the 911 being fun aspect is more of like you're comfortable in your job, and to you, it's exhilarating. It's you like the excitement of helping others. Yeah. So I think that's where kind of the word fun comes in to kind of that way we can kind of maybe brush that up of like that's what there's no roller coasters, there's no party poppers, that kind of fun. It's more of like the fun exhilaration of the job of getting it done, doing it accurately, and helping save lives and everything, which I can see your enthusiasm. Like I really can. Like it's just radiating off of you. So that is great.
If not, I tell people, I told a friend last night or not before, I was like, if this job is, if not the best job in the world.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. It gives me goosebumps. I love that. Well, that is so awesome. Well, Jeff, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Well, you're welcome. And one, for what you do.
Appreciate it.
And your attitude towards the industry is just electric. So that is amazing. And those that are interested in, if you're like listening to Jeff and you're like, oh my gosh, I want this guy to be my supervisor, you can always check in on Fort Worth Police's website to see if they are hiring. I know that it kind of goes periodically throughout the year when you're hiring.
Open it back up, so if you want to do it. Oh,
well, you might have it might have been open a little bit like this past couple of months or something like that. We try to put it on our website, but there's just like sometimes there are short stints, and then you have to you have to change it and stuff. But just save it as one of your browsers and or one of your pages, and then just check it and see if they're hiring at the time and things like that. And you could one day be mentored by Jeff here and going and having a good time at the 911 Center in Fort Worth. So
love to have you.
Thank you so much again for your service, and thanks for coming on the podcast. And everyone, thank you so much for listening and supporting the Tarrant County 911 District podcast. And I am looking forward to yet another episode. Next week, we have new episodes every Monday, and you can listen to this podcast on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Or if you haven't downloaded it, you can also listen to it off our website. So if you're in an area where you can't get your apps going, just go to our website and you can listen to it there with no downloading needed. So you're going to go back and listen to all the episodes, Jeff?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. I really need you to do that. There's going to be a quiz later. So thanks again, everyone, for listening, and I hope that you have a fabulous week.